Good morning, and welcome to the Middle Atlantic Machinery, Southern States Machinery, Northeast Machinery Summer Series demonstration. So this is the first of four webinars we're going to be hosting over the next month, and certainly appreciate your time. Our anticipation is to show you the flexibility of the flow water jet and for you to consider the water jet as a complementary tool to what your current process is, whether you're laser cutting, machining, plasma cutting, or looking for a standalone tool. So Jody Blyman and Eric Marciniak will be our hosts, and we hope to make the most of your time. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you very much for joining us today. As Kevin said, my name is Jody Blyman. I'm the Regional Business Manager for Flow here in the Northeast, responsible for 11 states, New York, Pennsylvania, up through New England, down through New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware. I work with my application specialist, Eric Marciniak, who's joining us today as well. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about the key components in selecting a water jet, some of the trade-offs between technology and the advantages of Flow International and our long history, our breadth of product, and our technology. So Flow is recognized as one of the most versatile and fastest growing companies in waterjet, and waterjet itself continues to grow in popularity and applications. As we've expanded the capabilities and the ease of use, we've seen more and more customers needing this technology for its versatility, for its no heat effect, no post-processing, and for being a green process. So our company, Flow, invented the technology. Every pump in use in production today from any water jet supplier was invented and designed by Flow. We are the largest water jet supplier in the world with more machines in use today than all of our competitors combined, close to actually over 15,000 machines installed and in use as we speak. We are a global company, and we are a U.S. company. So we are headquartered in Kent, Washington. Manufacturing is all in Baxter Springs, Kansas. And what we are particularly proud of is that Flow employs more U.S. and Americans in America than any of our competitors. So some of our customers locally, and this is not all-inclusive by any stretch, Boeing, Clarkson, Joe Gibbs Racing is a partner of ours, Orange County Choppers, a lot of familiar names, Penn Stainless, Yard Metals, Klein Steel, a lot of military installations, Toby Hanna Weapons Depot, NavAir in New Jersey. Again, we are the global leader with more machines in the territory. In the Northeast, we have over 1,100 machines just in the Northeast alone. And again, that speaks to our history, our breadth of product, and our technology. So rugged construction and design. This is, along with our service and support, this is our biggest focus here at Flow. So what separates Flow from our competitors is the construction of our machines. All steel, ball screw driven, top of the line components. And that all steel, I think, speaks very loudly and to exactly who Flow is as far as the construction of our machines. A lot of our competitors use aluminum and plastic. We will not sacrifice on quality or reliability to cut cost. So all of our machines are all steel, ball screw driven. You will see that Flow's machines weigh a lot more than our competitors' machines because of the construction. Our drive systems are separated from the tank, so it's never between you and your parts. So as you're loading a Flow water jet, you don't have to worry about potential damage as you load the material from your fork truck or from the material itself, because our motion controls are separated from our tank, and that also makes us unique from our competitors. It allows ease of access and ease of loading, no risk of bumping or damaging expensive components with a Flow machine. Ball screw driven as opposed to track drive. This offers faster, smoother acceleration, as well as easier and less maintenance, and you also avoid the pressure loss that you'll get with plumbing that requires swivels. Here's some pictures just showing the heavy-duty, rugged construction of the Flow machine. You see the ball screw drive, which offers the smooth acceleration, fastest acceleration. So the machine that we're going to be showing you today, our Mach 300, Mach 500, offers a 0.1 G of acceleration. And acceleration is key. We're also very proud of the top speeds of our machines, 700 inches per minute, rapid traverse. But the reality is when you're cutting parts, you don't often get up to those top speeds. You could think of it like a racetrack in NASCAR, since we're partnered with Joe Gibbs. When you're going on that track, you very rarely get up to your top speed. What's more critical to your cycle time is that acceleration. World-class service and support. Again, along with the structural integrity of our machine, the technology that we could offer, this is truly what separates Flow from our competitor. So our service, our support, our tech service, our engineers are all local in this territory. We have over 11 technicians in the Northeast alone. That means that we're not flying people from Ohio, we're not flying people from Washington to give you service. We're an hour or two away and can be in your shop as you need us. That's very important to us, and something that we rely on. We also have local tech service management right here in the Northeast as well. So you're not calling a corporate 1-800 number. There's someone locally who can manage the schedule and get you the service you need when you need it. Flow offers a wide variety of service options. You could, of course, always call in with any unexpected issues. We have 24 hours, 7 days a week phone service. There's also a Flow app that you can download right on your phone, and you can interact and get support right through the Flow app without having to go back to your computer. And then there's also maintenance plans that come with our new machines, which have Flow in to help service your machines before it's time for rebuild. So we are eliminating the challenges of the break-fix model that our competitors use and that water jet suppliers have used traditionally. So we put you on a maintenance schedule where we keep track of your pump hours, and every 500 hours of runtime, we will be in to rebuild your pump, inspect the machine, make sure your machine is doing exactly what you need it to do. And that's basically a partnership between Flow and your company. We don't just sell a machine. We're building a partnership. IoT, it's the Internet of Things, connectivity. That is definitely a focus of Flow along with the rest of the world. We have embedded diagnostics and sensors throughout our pump and machine to allow us to dial in to your system without having to send a technician on site. We can monitor stroke rate, pressure, temperature, and allow us to get ahead of the problems or potential problems before you see them. Again, this all kind of dovetails in to getting away from the break-fix model, getting to preventative maintenance, eliminating the downtime, which plagues some of our competitors and is not an issue for Flow. Training, so training comes with every machine that we sell, and you could have it your way, just like Burger King. We could do training on site at your facility. We can host you at our facility, which is really the ideal solution because we have all of our machines, all of our pumps, and it's the best way to learn the technology. And we also have online training. In the last few months, we've all seen restrictions in travel. So we've expanded our online training catalog to include all components of use, programming, and maintenance to allow you to get training without leaving your facility. And you can get information on all of that on flow.com. Oh, spare parts. So spare parts as well separates us from our competition. So we manufacture and stock our parts in Baxter Springs, Kansas, which is 1-day shipping. And we're also stocking parts right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at Mid-Atlantic Machinery to eliminate any lead time as far as your needs for water jet. We also have Mid-Atlantic has a technician also available in addition to our 11 guys from Flow. So again, another layer of support. As you can see on the map, this shows our coverage. Again, in the Northeast, we have 11 technicians and engineers just in this territory alone, and we continue to expand our tech service team to keep up with the growth that we're seeing in our sales. So how water jets work, and again, there's a lot of information, so we're gonna go through this relatively quickly. Please feel free to text in any questions that you may have, and we will do our best to answer them during this presentation. If we're not able to get to them in the time allotted, we will be calling you back individually and to answer every question that any of you may have. So the key components of the machine are, of course, the water jet table and motion controls itself. Then you also have the pump, which is the heart of the water jet system, where we generate the pressure. Then you have the roll-around console, as well as the abrasive hopper. So your pump. This is where everything happens. This is where the magic happens, so to speak. So you have your options as far as pressure and styles of pump. What separates Flow, again, as far as the technology, we invented both of these style pumps. So whether it's direct drive or intensifier, Flow has patents and invented both technologies, and we are the only supplier who can offer both the direct drive or intensifier. All of our competitors offer one or the other. The vast majority, just about all, only offer the intensifier pump. There's only one supplier I'm aware of that's still offering the legacy direct drive, and that's Omax. And they both have their sweet spots. It depends on what your production and application is. That'll dictate which pump makes most sense for you. And again, we're the only supplier who can offer every pump option available in the industry. So abrasive water jet, you generate pressure at the pump between 60 to 90,000 PSI. That water gets pumped through to our cutting head through the overhead whip. We don't, there's some of our competitors have plumbing that requires swivels, so you're pushing the water back and forth. Those are maintenance, sore spots, and you also lose pressure with every swivel you go through, which is why Flow, uses the high pressure whip to eliminate any of those concerns. So that high pressure, that 87 PSI and whatever horsepower pump that you're using, gets pushed through to your cutting head. That's where that pressure is turned into velocity. And then after going through the cutting head, you go into the mixing tube where you pull in the abrasive, the garnet, and it allows you to do that cutting on hard materials. There are many materials where you don't need abrasive. Softer materials, whether it's gaskets, rubber, foam, softer plastics, you could cut those with water only, which will give you a thinner stream of water and also saves you on the abrasive costs. And it has some advantages. The rule of thumb is that anything that you can cut with a household scissor, you can cut with water only. If you can't cut it with a scissor, you're going to need abrasive. So again, this shows you a closer view of the process. That the water comes in, abrasive gets pulled in using the Venturi process, and then comes out through the mixing tube. If you're cutting more sensitive materials, brittle materials, glass, composites, anything that could see fractures, micro cracking, delamination, you may need a vacuum assist, which is a very cheap add-on to your machine, probably under $1,000. And what that vacuum assist does is gets the abrasive going to the mixing tube without the vacuum process. So it pushes the abrasive using your air compressor as opposed to pulling it in. And this allows the abrasive to hit the material with the water at the same time, which eliminates all micro cracking, micro fractures, and delamination. So the advantages of water jet, cold cutting. It's a no heat process, so you don't have to worry about the haz or heat effect that you'll see with some other technologies. The major advantage above all of these others probably is the versatility. What makes water jet unique compared to laser and plasma, which all have their sweet spots, it's the ability to cut any material and any thickness. You can go from steel to stone to glass to rubber to wood with no changes to your setup. It's very easy to cut all those materials without doing anything special, without having to spend a lot of time changing your setups. And again, the thickness. Water jet will cut through virtually any thickness material. The machine that we're going to be showing you today has a 12-inch cutting capability. You can get that same machine with a 24-inch capability or beyond. So whatever your requirements, as thin or as thick as you need, the water jet will be able to bring value. No stress added to the part. Again, it's an erosion process more than a cutting process. And then the ease of use. You can go from art to part in a matter of seconds or minutes. You're working from any native file format. Our application specialist will show you in detail just how easy it is to get parts cut on your water jet. And then environmentally friendly. The water jet is a green process. You don't have to worry about hazardous waste or hazardous materials. The abrasive comes in. The vast majority of customers are using garnet, the Burstone garnet, which can go to drain, it can go to your dump, it can go to your landfill. There's no special handling or requirements needed. And the same with the water. The water can go right to drain. The only addendum to that is if you're cutting restricted materials or hazardous materials, then obviously you have to take special precautions. And there are easy ways to deal with those materials. You can get a closed loop system that recycles the water so you're not sending any water to drain or any materials into the environment. Again, all the different materials that we can cut, whether it's Inconel, titanium, stainless. The only material in the world that I've seen WaterJet struggle with, and this is across all WaterJet suppliers, is tempered glass. Tempered glass, as you apply any pressure to it, it's designed to shatter. But we're working on it. And here's just some examples of some of the applications that you'd be able to do with the WaterJet, whether it's extremely fine and detailed work. With pure WaterJet, you can get down to 5 thou kerf. With abrasive WaterJet, it's a little over 30 thou, about 33 thou. It's usually 10% over the size of your mixing tube. So again, the ability to cut extremely precise and intricate parts. Nesting as well, and again, just showing you all the different applications that you can use for WaterJet. We talked about thin, and we could also talk about thick. We got a lot of customers, today cutting 12, 14, 16-inch various material. We have a customer up in Rochester that's been cutting 14-inch glass for a space application with the same flow machine since 1995. Again, that speaks to the quality of our machines. You can have a 30-year plus machine cutting space tolerance parts without any issues. WaterJet supplements a lot of other tools in the industry, whether you already have a plasma or a laser. The WaterJet will bring value and bring capability and open up applications that you couldn't cut with some of these other technologies. And that's because of our versatility and the process itself. So pump technology. We mentioned that Flow invented every pump style available in the industry. So that starts with the legacy direct drive pump. Again, tried and true. It'll be able to cut all the same materials as an intensifier pump and even a higher pressure intensifier pump. The difference is going to be speed, operating cost, and maintenance. So the intensifier offers more flexible maintenance, less maintenance, and it also allows you to cut faster and reduce your operating cost. And we'll talk about how we do that in these upcoming slides. So this slide illustrates the difference in velocity between pressures on pumps. We're talking about PSI, whether it's 40K, 60K, or 90,000 PSI. As you go faster in velocity, and you see the 90K is about 500 miles per hour faster than the 60K, increasing that velocity reduces the size of your stream of water. So you're cutting faster, the water is moving faster, and it's a thinner stream of water. And what that means to you is that you're going to be using less abrasive. With that thinner stream of water, you entrain less abrasive, and so you're cutting faster while reducing your operating cost. So this is why the vast majority of our customers have moved to this hyperpressure, to this 87, 94,000 PSI, because they're able to cut 20, 30% faster while reducing their operating costs by close to 50%. And that is huge. So the biggest operating cost with WaterJet is that abrasive, that garnet that gets pulled into the system. It's not expensive, but you use a lot of it. So abrasive garnet costs about 25 cents a pound. And depending on your pump, you're using between 0.8 to 1.2 pounds plus of abrasive. By going from the 60K pump to the 94K pump, you're bringing down that abrasive usage from 1.2 pounds a minute to 0.8 pounds a minute. And that has a huge impact on your operating cost, which allows you to see more profit and be able to quote more aggressively to your customers. So here's illustrating some of the things we were just talking about. Again, cutting 30 to 50% faster, reducing that kerf or that taper by having that thinner stream of water that is in training less abrasive. You're also able to cut finer detail with that higher pressure pump than you could with the 60K. Very critically is that cost savings. Like I said, you're going to use 30 to 50% less abrasive, which translates directly to operating cost savings. And this speaks to the speed difference by going from 60K to 90K. You could see as you go up in pressure, you're increasing your speeds, you're reducing your cycle time. This is a tremendous advantage of the higher pressure pump. And again, the reason that most of our production customers have moved to the higher pressure. And we do offer every option. So if you're not running, full out, 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 18 hours a day, a direct drive might be a good option for you. And we have, the best direct drive in the industry, more modern and up to date than any of our competitors. So as I was saying, as you go up in pressure, you're reducing that diameter of your jet stream. That equates directly to abrasive usage. If you look at the bottom of this screen, you could see by going up in pressure, you're increasing the speed, you're going faster, and you're reducing your cost. That makes the higher pressure pump makes a lot of sense for a lot of customers and a lot of applications. But please, let us have the conversation. Let us talk about what you guys are doing. We want to learn more about your process and see what you need from us to bring value. So in summary on the pump technology, the hyperpressure will cut faster and use less abrasive than the 60K pumps or direct drive. Hyperpressure offered, this is key as well. So you're not going to see more maintenance by going to an intensifier or by going to a higher pressure pump. Quite the opposite. You see less maintenance with these higher pressure pumps. They're built with more rugged components. You can run them below their max rated capacity of 87K and still be going significantly faster than a 60K pump and still saving a lot of money on abrasive. And you can extend those intervals from 500 to 1,000 hours or beyond. So it's available in all horsepower options, 50, 100, up to 200 horsepower and beyond. This is key. So the intensifier pumps use slow stroking hydraulic technology. So the intensifier pump compared to the direct drive pump. So the direct drive pump has 3 cylinders to rebuild every time you do the maintenance compared to the 2 cylinders of the intensifier. So it's 33% less maintenance every time you do those rebuilds. And the reason why the intensifiers have less wear and tear is they're much more gently stroking. So a direct drive from Flow or from our competitors, you're going to be seeing a stroke rate of 700, 800 strokes a minute. An intensifier only strokes 70 to 80 strokes a minute. That is proportionally less wear and tear on your pump, and again, extending those maintenance intervals. Hyperpressure has a smaller footprint than direct drive, and it's also, again, the more flexible maintenance. So with a direct drive pump, as soon as you start to see indications that it's time for a rebuild, you have to stop your production, you have to stop what you're doing, and rebuild that pump right away. Otherwise, you're going to risk cascading problems and seeing the cost of that rebuild and the time to do that rebuild on a direct drive pump extend significantly. With an intensifier, you could start to see those same indications that it's time for a rebuild, and you could keep cutting for days, if not weeks. This offers a lot more flexibility than the direct drive and will a lot easier for a lot of shops to work with without impacting their schedule or the response time to the customers. And also, another key advantage of the intensifier is that you could swap out that complete unit. So if it's time to do a rebuild and you're in the middle of a big job that you have to get out by Friday and you don't really want to spend a couple hours doing a pump rebuild, you could take your intensifier pump off your pump cart, put in a replacement intensifier, continue to cut, and then go do the rebuild on your intensifier at your convenience, whether it's on Saturday, the following week, or whenever works best for you. So our software, the machines run off a proprietary software, Flow Expert, Flow Master, extremely intuitive, extremely easy to use, Windows based. It's a CAD CAM package. We're going to be walking you through the software programming and just how easy it is, working from any native file format. Our application specialist will be showing you that in a couple minutes here. So another advantage and what customers love about our software is that you can quote a job without cutting a part. So if you have a customer that's looking to potentially give you some business for your water jet, you can take his file or take his drawing, run it through our software in a matter of minutes, and our software will tell you exactly how long it's going to take to cut, how much abrasive you're going to use, what your operating costs are, and it'll give you all the details that you need to quote intelligently to win and to be profitable without doing any extra work. And again, extremely easy programming, working from any native file format, and DXF or others, and we'll show you all of those. The machine will path the part for you, or you can path it manually. Lead in, lead outs are added automatically. As a rule, the machine does the inside geometry first and then goes to the outside. But again, what separates Flow from our competition is the flexibility of our software. You have the ability to change the order, change the path, change the speeds, anywhere from 0 to 100 at the touch of a button. And once you program, you can take it right to the machine. You can either be networked, or you can throw your file on a jump drive. You can program right on the roll-around console as well. And then you just tell the machine the material type and the thickness, and you're cutting. So options as far as performance and precision. There are choices out there as far as technology. Legacy technology is the conventional water jet, straight up and down cutting. Still see it at a ton of customers, good accuracies. The limitations on that conventional cutting head is that you're not going to have the same features that a Dynamic or Dynamic XD, specifically taper compensation. So as water jet's cutting, and especially cutting through thicker materials, that stream of water will start to spread from any supplier. This is inherent to the water jet technology. So you'll start to see an angle on your material, or if you don't slow down the cut significantly, it'll give you taper. So you'll have an angle on one side of the material. A taper compensating cutting head accounts for that taper. It angles the cutting head up to 10 degrees to clean out the cut and ensure perfect perpendicularity top to bottom. And it also allows you to go faster than a conventional water jet, because that dynamic cutting head will angle forward as you cut. So instead of the water jet trailing back and waiting to clean out the cut, you're actually tilting forward, which allows for much greater speeds and acceleration, specifically in and out of corners. And then lastly, our Dynamic XD cutting head, which is a 5-axis cutting head, offering up to 60 degree of true angle cutting. This is a superior solution than any of our competitors offer. Our 5-axis cutting head is faster and more accurate than anything that you'll see from any of the other competitors out there. And that's because of our design being a 10 degree, 60 degree cutting head wrist. It allows us to cut up to that 60 degree and beyond without having to wind and unwind like our competitors, AJet and others, have to do. So broadest product range, again, so what makes Flow different and separates us from our competition is our focus on the structural integrity. Our all-steel ball screw-driven machines are superior to anything out there from the competition. Our service and support is local, present, and engaged. We're not flying from elsewhere. And then our technology, specifically our pump technology and cutting head technology. And then lastly, it's our product range. We offer a system for every application, starting in that 2D small 4x4 cutting and going up to the extremely large, 40-foot dual bridge, dual head, full quad head machines even, rotaries, whatever attachments or features are available on our machines. So Mach 100, Mach 200 are entry-level units offering the cantilever style. They are workhorses that have been around for a long time, starting again in that 4x4 size and going up to a 6x13 or 6x12. Then our Mach 300, Mach 500, which is our flagship machine, offering every feature that we could offer. whether it's 5-axis capabilities, the vacuum assist, multiple heads, multiple bridges, every feature that we offer is available on these Mach 500s. Then the Mach 700, which is large format, the NanoJet, which is a precision machine. I happen to love the NanoJet, tolerances down to 4/10, a fully enclosed system used primarily for aerospace and medical. And then again, the pump technology, we're the only supplier who offers every pump option. And then we also have advanced system solutions. If you need something that's more unique, you want automation, robotics, you want optics on the machine, all available. And I should mention that garnet removal and closed loop options are standard options for all these systems. So looking quickly at the Mach 100, again, this is our entry-level option, 7-inch cut capability, starting in a 4x4, very cost-effective. Have customers who've had these machines for years and years and absolutely love them. So I jumped over the Mach 200, which is pretty comparable to the Mach 100. The difference between the Mach 200 and the Mach 100 is the 5-axis capability. All other features are the same. And then the Mach 300, Mach 500, it offers the ultimate in productivity, speeds, and performance. This machine goes up to 12-inch cut capability standard. You can go up to 24-inch and beyond as well. It's the fastest system in the industry across all of our competitors. Again, offering that 0.1 G of acceleration, 700 inches per minute of rapid traverse, and every feature is available. And this starts in a 6x6 cutting space, and it goes up to a 13x26 or really a 13x27. And then we can go even larger with the Mach 700. And then the NanoJet, again, this is a pretty specific and unique machine. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. This is very specific to applications. We see it primarily in aerospace, and it's because of its precision tolerances. The majority of our machines, the Mach 500 is going to give you 1 to 3 thou all day. The NanoJet gets you below 1 thou. The NanoJet takes you to 4/10 or 0.0004 for the most precision, the most accuracy available from anybody. So we are WaterJet. That is all that we do. Again, been around for 40 plus years, invented the technology, more machines than all of our competitors, more service people than all of our competitors. We appreciate the opportunity. We appreciate your business. Let us know how we can help. And now we are going to transition to our application specialist, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the software, show you how to import a file, path apart, draw apart, and cut apart in minutes. If you have any questions on the information I presented, please text it in. Please call us directly, Mid-Atlantic Machinery, or Eric or myself, and we will get right back in touch with you, set up an appointment as makes sense, as is safe. We can take you to see one of our many local machines. We could do test cuts for you in our facility, or we could just come and discuss your application and requirements in detail. And with that, I'm going to send this to Eric Marciniak. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Jody. Jody, we did have 2 questions come in.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to answer them for the customers. First question was, how much do customers bill out for contract cutting?
Great question. So as a rule, we see most of our customers charging between $150 to $200 an hour for their WaterJet cutting. Of course, it depends on the material that they're working with, as well as the intricacy of their design, but that is a good estimate for what customers to expect. And important in that context, the operating cost of the machine, you should expect your operating cost of the machine, depending on your pump options, to be between $27 and $32 an hour on average. Again, when you go to the hyperpressure, when you go to the higher pressure pumps, you're able to reduce that operating cost, that $27 an hour level, while cutting faster and cutting more parts.
And then the last question here is, are you able to program from an office or like a laptop computer instead of just the roll-around?
100%, absolutely. So yes, you can program right on the roll-around console that's here at the machine, or you can program from your desktop, from your laptop. What makes Flow Expert, our software, somewhat unique is that it's a floating license. So you can put that license on one computer, but you can use it on multiple devices. So if you have one of your technicians or salespeople need to draw a part at home, you can transfer the license from one computer to the other extremely easily and be able to program on any machine in your shop.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Jody. So with that said, we're actually going to jump over to my personal laptop, and I'm going to show you a demo of Flow Expert. So come on over. All right. So Flow Expert is our full CAD CAM designing and programming software. This is a full suite from 3D to 2D to sheet metal. It has a whole bunch of features. So I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to just import a standard DXF file just to show you how quick it is to path it. And then from there, I'm going to design a part that we're actually going to cut on the water jet machine here in the next 5-10 minutes, just to show you how easy that is. And then, yeah, we'll get right into it. So first, I'm going to start off by just opening a file. You have all these different file formats to choose from. So whether you're using SolidWorks, whether you're using Autodesk, there's definitely going to be a file format compatible for Flow Expert. So we'll go all files. We're just going to open up a standard DXF here. So here we go. We got a standard 2D DXF. We're going to go to the Sequence tab up top, and we're going to hit the Path button. And this is how easy it is. Like Jody mentioned earlier, from design to part, you can get it done in 5 minutes. It's extremely easy. So there we go. It recognized the part and the planes, and then we're just going to hit this check mark to calculate the flow path. And there we go.
And full training is included with the machine. So if you move forward with a flow, we will do a one-day training as we install the machine, and then you have the options that we discussed as far as whether in person at our facility or at your facility. And it's very quick and easy, and we will teach you everything that you need to know.
Yes, good point, Jody. So yeah, as you can see, it was just super easy to path this. We have the water jet path. As Jody mentioned earlier, it does do the inside geometry first, and then it finalizes it with the outside cut. So then from there, you just go File, Save As. You can save it to a USB drive, or you can save it to your network, and then you can take it right to the computer. So that's just a quick demo of how to import a ready-made DXF. Next, I'm just going to create a quick file here that we're going to cut on the water jet machine today. So here we go. We'll start with a new design. We'll go to the top view. We're going to go to the Design tab. So the Design tab has a whole bunch of features here, from circles, rectangles, lines, spline. And a really neat feature about Flow Expert is that any time you can hover over a tool and hit F1, and that'll bring up a full how-to guide on how to use that tool. So it's super, super convenient. I learned this software, within a week, pretty proficient, after a month, but super easy to use, and the help guide is very nice.
You didn't have any CNC experience going into that?
Yeah, no CNC, and this is pretty straightforward. So we'll start off, let's see here, we'll draw a pentagon. Let's see here. So we'll start with a pentagon. We'll make that, let's see, 4 inches in diameter. There we go. And this is just going to be a part that we're going to cut today on the water jet. There we go. So then from there, we're just going to draw a line. And then this is one of my favorite tools here, the trim away. So you can basically trim away any geometry that you don't need, and it just recognizes it perfectly like that.
Can you do different sizes or different parts of the same drawing at different speeds?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so we'll be showing that on Flow Cut, but definitely. So yeah, so here's our little part we're gonna make today. So I just designed this under a minute. From there, we now have to extrude this to turn it into a 3D model. So I'll just show you some of these features of Flow Expert here. So here we have our 2D object. And now from here, we're going to use the pull tool. And you can pull that geometry to the thickness that we're going to do for our cut today. So we're going to do 1/2 inch. We're going to be cutting 1/2 inch aluminum. And this is what our final product will look like off the machine. So just to show you some other features here, you do have full capability to add chamfers. So you can add a cool chamfer like that. That is capable, that is a water jet capable part to cut. So just really, really neat on what you can do with this software. You can do a countersink if you'd like. So super neat, easy to program, and then we'll get right into how easy it is to path this part. So once again, you go to sequence, you go to path. It automatically recognizes this 3D part, and then all you got to do is hit calculate flow path, and it does it automatically. It's an automatic flow water jet path. Puts all the lead in and lead outs for you, and then you're good to go. I'm just going to show you how you can adjust a few settings. So what I really like is this here is a lead in and lead out straight. I can adjust that to an arc in and an arc out. So I would always recommend that for circles. You just get a nice clean circle. We'll adjust the lead in and lead out lengths. Same with this one. So super user friendly. You know, this isn't anything too complicated. And then from there it puts the finished cut right on the corner. We'll just extend these just a little bit here. There we go. So there you go. We have our finished part. And something that is also nice, I'll show you this tool. You can drag these lead ins and lead outs wherever you want them. So super user friendly. So from here, we're going to export this to a USB drive. So save as. We're going to go right to a USB drive, and then we're going to save it there. All right. So now let's head on over to our Mach 300. All right, I'm back. So here today, this is our Mach 300. This is a 5-foot by 10-foot table. It has a 12-inch Z. Now one thing to note about the table size is this is a 5 by 10. We do have machines, table sizes that do go up to 40 feet by 13 feet. So you can have a whole bunch of different customizable sizes, and you know, it's all based off your application and what you need. 12-inch Z height. So this cutting head can go up to 12-inch Z, so you can cut up to 12-inch thick material on this specific machine. We do have, as Jody mentioned earlier, we do have 24-inch Z height if your application needs it. We have the abrasive hopper in the back. That's a continuous fill 900-pound hopper. So that means that while you're cutting, you can actually continue to fill up the abrasive. You don't have to shut your program down and fill it up. So super nice. A lot of customers love that. Back there you'll see our Hyperjet. That is a 50 horsepower, 87,000 PSI intensifier pump. That is our signature pump. A lot of customers love it due to the cost effectiveness of it and just the cutting speeds. You know, it's a really big improvement over the 60,000 PSI. And then lastly, we do have the computer over here, I think, as you saw earlier. But yeah, that's really about it. Yeah. Show this. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about it.
So
Yeah.
again, real quickly talking about the difference in pressure and speeds. So these two parts, one was cut at 60,000 PSI, one was cut at 94,000 PSI. You can see the difference in productivity at the same speed. Each of these were cut at 1 minute. Each of these were cut at 1 minute, and you can see the difference in the increase in productivity from going to the higher pressure. Also worth showing you, again, we're doing some big parts today, but you can do very precise work as well, again, down to that 30 thou perf. And then the other last part I want to show you before I hand this back to Eric is, again, some of the 5-axis capability. So this tool steel was cut on a 5-axis flow machine in one pass. And that's definitely something that's unique and not all suppliers could do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jody. So yeah, I say, what do we say? Let's cut this part that I just programmed. Sound good? All right, let's do it. Let's jump right over to the machine.
Good.
All right, so I just inputted the USB drive. From here, I am going to pull it right off the, oh, there you go. Pull it right off the USB stick. So let's see, here we go. And there it is, thank you. So then from here, I just want to move all entities into our cutting space. like so. So now this software here, let me back up a little bit. This is a Flow Cut. This is the machine software that allows you to cut your design part. It has many functions. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you some features on here, but there are many to be had. So we'll start up here in the top left. This is where you're going to put in the material thickness. So today we're going to be cutting 1/2 inch aluminum. So we'll put in 1/2 inch there. And then one of our signature features is our material list. So we have over 100 different materials to choose from here, all the way from PCD all the way down to rubber. So it goes from softest material to the hardest material you can cut. And our software is automatically going to calculate, based on the thickness and the material type, how fast it needs to cut to get that edge quality. So let's see, let me find aluminum here. Aluminum bronze. We got 6061. Yes. So speaking about edge quality, this part we're going to cut today, we're going to cut at 5 different cut speeds. So one cut speed is going to be 20, 40, 60, 80, and then we're going to do some custom cut speeds in there, which is what our software is capable of doing. So let's start with this bottom line here. We're going to put this one at 20%. So up here in the top, these are the different cut speeds, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. And we do have this custom setting here, which I'll go over in a little bit. So we'll do 20. This one we're going to keep at 40. This one we're going to do 60, 80, and then this one here we're going to do custom. We're just going to put this one at 90. There we go.
So some parts of your part, you may not care about what the edge quality looks like. It's maybe interior to the application, so no one's going to see it, and so you just want to go as fast as you can, in which case you would go that 90, 100%. But other parts of that same part, you may need to be smooth and as smooth a finish as you can get, and you have the options to have all those features on the same part with Flow.
Exactly, yeah, good point. So on this hole, I'm going to set this speed at 10%. So we really want a nice, smooth, accurate hole to be tapped later on. So we'll put that at 10%. So perfect. From there, we got all of our geometry. We got the speed set out that we would like. From there, we're going to go right into running the machine. So this is going to be a water and abrasive setup. We hit OK. And it's pretty simple. This is pretty straightforward. I do have to set the home. I don't know if you want to jump over to the machine. I can set the home for this part. So we have our material on the table here. I'm going to jog the machine over, and we're going to find a nice spot on this 1/2 inch aluminum to cut this part. So one thing to note when cutting with a water jet, you need your standoff distance of that mixing tube to be about 100 thousandths off from that material. So I'm just going to kind of tune this in right now. Perfect. Slides right under. And then from there, we're going to set our home, maybe just a little bit over, right there. So we're going to set that as our home. You can jump back to the software. And then we're going to set that as our user home. Perfect. Now from there, we can basically cut. So I'm going to turn on the pump. You're going to hear it ramp up. It's going to get up to pressure. If you're looking at the console screen here, you can see the pressure we have right there. And then all you have to do is just hit play, and then we're good to go. All right, so as we mentioned, it's going to cut the inside geometry first. And that was automatically passed by our Flow Expert software. So if you look closely, you can kind of see the A and B motors dancing around for that taper elimination. You can kind of faintly see it, but it is angled a little bit forward, and it is also tilting back and forth to compensate for that taper. So after it does the inside geometry, it's going to do that hole. That hole we set at 10%. So you're going to see that as it goes around cutting that hole, it's going to be a significantly slower speed. So it's going to stop, and that's going to pierce that hole. Takes a little bit under half a second to pierce. And we're getting you the live footage from the GoPro. You get to see it right in the action. And now this hole was cut at 10%. That'll give us a nice smooth satin finish. Now here's the final pierce. So now you should be able to see this visually. You're going to notice that this first angle on this pentagon here, this first line, this cut is at 20%. So 20% cut speed, and then the next side of this pentagon is going to be at 40%. And then 60, 80, and then 90. So you should see it speeding up just a little bit. And then now we're going to be going into the 60. Watch those BNC motors. You can see them move. And if you look on the screen, you can see that water jet path. And as it accelerates, the little dots. So you visually get to see what's going on your computer and at the part. And that's it. So just under 3 minutes to cut this part. Let's see how it looks. And something really nice about that taper elimination cutting head is that there is no taper, so that part does not get trapped. It just pops right out effortlessly. So let's see, let's hold it up to the camera here. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. So if you look at each edge quality, that there is 20%. And then we got 40% right there. You can kind of see some lines, striations. And then we got 60%. Let's get it focused. There it is. 60%, 80% getting a little rougher. This would be, if you're just trying to do a rough cut and then put it on a mill later. And then we got that 90. So you can kind of see it right there. A little rough. So not too bad. And then that hole was at 10%. Let's see if we can get you a good video of that. Look at that. Nice, smooth satin finish. So under 3 minutes. Pretty nice part. And as you saw how easy it was from programming to finished product, it was pretty effortless. So.
We have a question that came in. Someone's asking about what if they're cutting smaller parts? They're concerned about the parts falling into the tank. What can we do for that?
Yeah, so great question. So if you are cutting smaller parts, you are able to add a tab. So you can add a tab to restrict those small parts from falling down to the bottom of the table. So putting a tab there will hold that part there, and then you can just kind of wiggle it off and then secondary process it from there. So what else? Any other questions came in at all, or?
Someone's asking about the slats.
Yes.
How often do you go through? Do you have to replace them every time you use them?
Yeah, so great question. So slats, they are a consumable item. As the water jet cuts through the material, you are also digging into the slats beneath. It all depends how often you're cutting, but maybe like once a year you have to replace them. But like I said, it's all depending on how often you are cutting. But many people will cut in the middle, and then they'll move it to the left, to the right. They'll move it all over to get life out of their slats. And you can also flip them over. So if the top's getting beat up and cut, flip it over, and then you got a nice clean edge. So
when it's time for more, you have a water jet. You can cut
yeah, and then if you you can cut your own slats. You got a water jet. So what else?
Let's see what we got here. Next.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we got a few more coming in.
Okay.
Just trying to pull them down. Have someone asking about how long will this machine last? How long do the flow machines last?
So yeah, it's a great question. As you mentioned earlier, Jody, we have machines out there 20 plus years old. These machines are built with all steel infrastructure. These machines are built to last. So 20 years, 20 plus, easily, no problem there, definitely.
Okay. Is the maintenance the same for the high pressure pump as it is for a 60K pump?
Is the maintenance the same? The maintenance intervals?
Correct.
Yeah, so the maintenance intervals on both pumps, even though the one is a higher pressure, the maintenance intervals are still every 500 hours for preventative maintenance. So, every 500 hours on our Flow Care Complete program, we're going to send in a Flow Tech, and they will do the pump rebuilds for you. That's both for the 60K and for the 94,000 PSI.
Okay, got a couple more here.
Yep.
If I program a part in the office, am I able to change the geometry at your machine?
Yeah, so great question. So you do have the software in your office, on your desktop computer, and also at the machine. So you do have that programming capability at your console. And yeah, so the answer is yes, simply said.
Next one, what are the utility requirements for this type of machine that we're cutting on here?
Yeah, so utility requirements in regards to power. So the pump is going to draw the most power. That needs a 3-phase 480. If you do have 220, there are step-up transformers that you can get. In regards to air, you do need shop air. You need about 40 CFM of shop air. And then lastly, about 5 gallons per minute of water. So at best, at tops, but it's only using about it's only using about a gallon a minute, so.
Next question here, I see that the setup has all of the components right next to each other.
Yes.
Does everything have to be in one location, all the components, the pump, and the machine?
Yeah, so great question. So all the components do not have to be close to your machine. So there are some restrictions, but in this case, the pump's super close, the hopper's pretty close, but you are able to put that pump in a different room if you wanted to. If you're limited to shop space, you can put it, 20 feet away. Yeah, you can put it up above in a mezzanine. So there's a bunch of options that you can do. We just need to know ahead of time so we can, account for extra plumbing. So.
I think we are running out of time. So
Running out of time, yeah, how are we doing?
If there are any questions that we couldn't get to, we apologize. We will absolutely, if there are any questions that we couldn't get to during this session, we will be calling you back individually. If we could help, as mentioned before, we'd love to do test cuts for you. You tell us, let us show you exactly how this machine is going to perform for your application. We don't want you to take our word for it. We want to prove it and show you why our machines are the fastest and offer the best productivity and profitability of any water jet in the industry. So we can do test cuts. Let us know if you want to come see the machine here at Mid-Atlantic Machinery. We could set it up at your convenience, or we could take you to one of our many, many other customers to see the exact machine that you are targeting to move forward with. Or if you just want to have a phone call or have a meeting, let us know. The Mid-Atlantic team and the Flow team are here local, and we're willing and able and ready to come into your shop as needed, or do webinar and conferences as is safe and makes sense. So we appreciate it. We appreciate the time today, spending an hour of your busy day, busy week. Go Flow. Let us know how we can help, and we appreciate the opportunity in the business. Thank you very much.